unsportsmanlike conduct. We're going to read the context on which it is done. I asked my officials to use judgment of, is it taunting an opponent? Is it making a travesty of the game? Or is it otherwise affecting our ability to manage the game? A travesty of the game is something that offends the senses, right? Take the act out of a football stadium, go put it in a shopping mall, in a grocery store. Is it something that would offend the senses of the majority of reasonable people in the area, right? Giving this signal, to me, isn't offensive, right, in that particular contest. So let's go back on the field. We have a player that's giving it. Is it taunting an opponent, or is it making a travesty of the game? If an opponent of Texas would score a touchdown, and in celebration with their teammates going back up the sideline, they're giving the signal, that's not an issue. We have that already in the Southeastern Conference. We have teams that have things like the Gator Chomp, the things like the Shark Fin for the defense, where that thing has been done. And over the years, we've evaluated, is it taunting? Is it making a travesty of the game? Is it otherwise affecting our ability to manage the game? If the answer is no, then it's not a foul. Now, if he tackles a player and stands right over them and gives it, now we've got taunting, and that would be unsportsmanlike conduct.
What do you think about being asked about it? Is it like a funny topic?
I know it's a passionate topic, so I certainly don't have any issue with it. The only thing that takes me back is how often I'm asked the question. Last year we had our 2023 SEC Media Days in Nashville. As we all know, in 2023, Texas and Oklahoma were playing their last season in a previous conference. But I was still asked the question about 10 to 12 times last year, right? So I get the question often. You could probably tell I'm very versed in my response. You could probably go find interviews that I did last year, and almost word for word I gave the same response, right? But I get it, right? And the game is emotion and passion. That's what makes it so darn fun, right? And as an officiating unit, we need to deal with that. And that's my reaction to being asked the question.
So how many times did your referees penalize Gator Chomp or Shark Fin or something like that?
I cannot remember us doing it in the 2023 season. I've been affiliated both on the field and in this position in the Southeastern Conference since the 2015 season, and less than the number of fingers you have on one hand.
And how long? How long?
Since 2015. So this was 9 previous seasons.
Right.
So I think your hypothetical, player tackles a Texas player and gives them the horns down. That would be taunting. But what if they just do another hand gesture, just point at them? Wouldn't that also be taunting?
Very possibly could be. Very possibly could be. I ask my officials to not consider most acts automatic. There are some automatics. Spitting at an opponent is an automatic, right? A throat slash is an automatic. But the rest of them, I want it to be evaluated in context. And I may answer any more hypotheticals you give me because I want to see the video. Because only the video will show me what the context is, whether or not we want to foul there. Let me say one last thing on this topic. We hear time and time again that fans don't want us officials inserting ourselves in the game. They want the two teams to settle the game between themselves. Well, guess what? If we put a flag down for unsportsmanlike conduct, it's a 15-yard penalty, potentially a first down for the offense. We've just inserted ourselves in the game, and so it needs to be something clearly we don't want a part of our game. Otherwise, let's let the players decide this on the field.
Could you imagine any scenario where a horns up on the field would be a?
There's going in and mock clapping to an opponent as if congratulating, that could be taunting, correct?
And has any representative from the University of Texas ever approached y'all's official association to encourage you to look at that as a? That
has absolutely not happened. I wonder. I don't know if you guys have made this connection. Coach Sarkisian was an assistant at Alabama when I was still on the field. He's known of me since at least that time. When we first saw each other, we had a head coaches meeting in February in Birmingham, like we do every winter with our coaches, and I went and visited the University of Texas this spring during their spring practices. It wasn't a brand new relationship. It's our paths have crossed in the past, and like I said, he at least knows of my work and what I represent from an officiating standpoint.
Did it come up when you were there in the spring?
I do not recall it coming up.
Yeah.
I think Coach Sarkisian and his staff had much bigger fish to fry on that particular day with, I think it was practice number 10 or number 11 on that particular day.
Yeah.
You mentioned that your answer's been kind of rehearsed. When was the first time that you thought of having to address this topic? Because it's been something that's been talked about for years since Texas was in the Big 12.
I don't recall. It's at least 12 months ago, but I don't recall exactly when.
I assume you'd like to be asked about something else. Officials,
I'm here for you guys.
officials in general take a